And we're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome into the Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I am Star, the Flippin' Hippo, and today is... move my mic closer. Today is Tuesday, June 9th. And up until about 10 minutes ago, I thought it was Thursday. But it is Tuesday. It is June 9th. And tonight we're going to talk about a topic that I keep seeing pop up in the reselling groups on Facebook, all over Instagram. I've had tons of private messages sent to me and emails asking, what should I do? What can I do? So we're going to address that tonight. Hey, David, welcome in. And Tammy, hi, welcome in. Thanks for joining us. Or me, or us. The hippos are here. Stark Raven Wild is here from Georgia. Welcome in. Patsy, Sunday Fun Day. Hello, hello, hello. Dev's Day today. Good to see you too. Fire Gal, hope you're doing well. Yes, I'm doing good. A little tired today, but that's my fault for not sleeping enough. Hi, Colleen. Welcome in. So yeah, this topic I keep seeing, I have been seeing probably since the beginning of the shutdown. Ever since things kind of went a little wonky, for lack of a better term, in our country, and just continued from there. You guys know what's going on in current events. Just something that keeps reoccurring. I keep seeing this topic come up, and I get a lot of messages every single day and emails. So I thought, well, I'll come on here and talk about it and make a video and maybe get everyone's questions answered all at once. So I'm not answering 10 emails or 20 messages a day, basically repeating myself. So let's see who else popped in real quick. Mindy from California, welcome in. So no, our sales are good. Our sales continue to stay pretty steady. We had a couple of days where they kind of dropped a little bit. If you watched my what sold video last night, we had a couple of days where it dipped and we had like 4 sales or whatever, but they're pretty steady. We are officially out of remotes as far as listing. We still have a ton in the store. We still have a ton that are already listed, but as far as what we're listing, we are officially out of remotes. So we are back to listing thrifted items, and we actually visited a thrift store for the first time since quarantine started on Sunday, and I'll be back tomorrow live to show you our haul. But we're listing every day. We're keeping very active on our eBay, and it's pretty steady, so just keep at it, guys. Hi, G Beach, Glazed Donut, what a cute name. Alfredo, hello from Florida. Glazed Donut says, I'm your biggest fan. Well, thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, it got the notification. Make sure if you guys haven't hit the little bell, hit it. I've also heard from a couple people recently that they weren't getting notifications when I went live or put up new content. Sometimes what happens on YouTube, and I kid you not, this is like a glitch or something, that bell will uncheck itself. So even I go through like once every couple of months or so and check on all my favorite YouTubers. And often I have to check the bell again. I know I've checked it before, but I have to recheck it. It just kind of unchecks itself sometimes. So just double check. I've also heard that sometimes you become unsubscribed to certain channels. I guess if you don't go there for a while, but just double check. Yeah, I'm hearing from a lot of people that sales are slow, but we're okay. So we're going to talk about what happens when a buyer contacts you with the dreaded, I can't find my package. I did not get my item. And there's 2 situations that typically occur. The first is, the item shows that it has been delivered. The tracking says it was dropped off, but the buyer's saying they still didn't get it or they don't have it. And then the other situation, which is really, really common right now because of everything going on in the country, is the tracking shows the item stuck. or lost. Like you sent it, it had priority on it. It should have been in there in 2 or 3 days. It's been 3 or 4 weeks. And if you look at the tracking, it's been sitting at one post office for weeks. That's really common right now because there are a lot of postal workers that are out of work due to C-19. And that's been going on since March. Even our post office was telling us that it's like 50% of the employees are out. So they have a lot less workers sorting through the mail and getting it where it needs to go. So it has slowed down exponentially. Then you have certain post offices that have closed for safety reasons or because they were already set on fire due to everything else. They've had to close down. So when you have an entire sorting facility completely shut down, they have to reroute all of that mail, or it just sits there until it gets rerouted and it can stall out the process of shipping it to your buyer. So the two situations again are it arrived, they didn't get it, or it's just in transit somewhere for way longer than it should have been. And we're going to talk about both and what you can do in both situations. So the first one, the buyer contacts you. They say, hey, I haven't received my item. I don't know what's going on. The first thing you want to do is check your tracking number. If it shows that it was delivered, you can contact your buyer. Always be professional. Always be professional. Don't get personal about it. And actually, I have always recommended for the 2.5 years that I've been on YouTube, I've always recommended speaking in the third person with the royal we when you're speaking to buyers. It makes it less personal. It makes you sound more like a business or an entity than an individual person. So when you refer to yourself as I shipped it on time, that doesn't sound as professional or businesslike as we shipped your item out on this day. I've just always recommended using that royal we or the third person. It actually makes you sound very professional and like a business entity because you don't want to get personal with buyers. You don't want them to think of you as just, an individual person. You want them to feel like you're a business. And that's why I always recommend using cookie cutter responses as well, because the cookie cutter responses that are very generic and very broad sound, again, more like they're coming from a business and you're not engaging with this buyer in a one-on-one situation where it's their thoughts, views, opinions, whatever, against yours. And when you do cookie cutter and you do the third person or the royal we, you're less inclined to get into an argument or a butting of the heads or anything like that with the buyer. It just keeps it nice and very broad, very generic, very much like if you've ever gotten a message from Target or Walmart, it sounds very cookie cutter. It doesn't make you sound like you're a special individual important person that Target's talking to. You sound like you're one of 50,000 people that Target talks to every day. Thank you so much for the super chat, Greg. $4.99. Thank you so much. We'll put that up there. I appreciate it. Thank you. So yeah, there are a lot of part-time workers right now too. Okay, so your buyer contacts you and says they haven't received it. So you want to check the tracking. If it shows it was delivered, you want to respond with, hello, we have taken the liberty of checking your tracking number for you. It does show that it was delivered on this day. Then you want to put the tracking number in the message for them so they can double check that, or you can attach a screenshot and let them know we've attached a screenshot of your tracking for you. We advise that you check with your neighbors just to see if someone got it by mistake, and check with your post office to see if they may have held it for whatever reason. That's letting them know in case they are a scammer or someone who would try to say they didn't get it even though they did. That's fishing for a partial refund or a free item. That's letting them know you know it was delivered and they're not going to get away with saying they don't have it and getting all their money back or whatever. And if they're an honest buyer, that kind of gives them some options to check out. If at that point they come back and say they still don't have it, they checked with their neighbors, they checked with their post office, this is what I then do at this point. I say, we're very sorry to hear that you did not receive your package. However, since the tracking shows it was delivered, we advise that you open an item not received case with eBay, and then eBay can get to the bottom of this for you. That's called the passing of the buck, and that's great to do in business. It sounds like you're being helpful. It sounds like you're being nice, but it's also passing this on to eBay. If you open the unpaid item claim, and eBay will get to the bottom of it for you. Then when they open that, you put in the tracking number, and eBay will close the whole case out. Typically, they'll give the buyer a refund, but they'll also let you keep your money. So they make both parties happy. Everybody gets their money. But that's the easiest and fastest way to diffuse the situation. Just pass it off. We're sorry you didn't receive it. Open your unpaid item case, and eBay can get to the bottom of this for you. The minute they open it, you put in that tracking. It shows it delivered, and it's closed. If by chance they then go to PayPal, which a lot of buyers will do, they'll try to circumvent and go back around to PayPal and do a chargeback because they're trying to get their money back regardless. You can respond to any claims open against you on PayPal. They allow you to respond with pictures, and you can type whatever you want. And we've had buyers do this, and we just simply type in our response to the claim. The tracking on this item showed it delivered. We had an unpaid item case opened on eBay for this item, and it was ruled in our favor that the package was indeed delivered. And then you can put any and all screenshots you have of that case and it being closed on eBay. You can always look at your old cases, and you can get a screenshot of where they closed it out and where you proved that it was in fact delivered. And you can include screenshots of the tracking and the tracking number. And typically once PayPal sees that it's actually been delivered and that eBay has already cited in your favor, they'll just close out in your favor also. And you're done. That's that simple. But for whatever reason, I see so many people every day just typing novels and freaking out and getting so emotional over this. And it's not anything to really get that upset about. It's really not, guys. It's cut and dry. Write the buyer, tell them to check with their neighbors, tell them to open that case. You're done. You don't have to put any effort into it. You don't have to put emotion into it. You don't have to put time into it. It's really easy to take care of and just get out of your way and move on with your day. I'm going to read some comments real quick. Swimmerization says, my priority package took 10 days from Florida to Chicago. I got a receipt that it was scanned several times, so thankfully the buyer wasn't bugging me. So yeah, Beth says did exactly as I just talked about. Remember to take a screenshot as chargeback of PayPal can be 6 months out. Yeah, so you're already gonna have a screenshot of the tracking because you've already dealt with it on eBay. So that's not even really gonna matter much anymore because you guys know we are all being moved over to managed payments in July. You saw my eye roll. You certainly did. I've been saying since 2018 when they announced their managed payments at eBay Open. I sat through a workshop on it, and I said, I'm not going to go until I'm forced. I'm going down with the ship, and I will go kicking and screaming, and that's what's happening. But we are all going to be moving to managed payments come July, so we're not even going to have to worry about that chargeback on PayPal. The only thing you'll have to do is tell them to open that case and prove it was delivered. So that was really easy to take care of. It doesn't require any time, doesn't require any real effort. So the other thing that a lot of us are dealing with, and this one's not so easy, not so cut and dry, and it can suck up a lot of your time when a buyer gets really, really upset and doesn't know how to control themselves and wants to send 50 messages in one day because they can't be an adult and just be patient. But some buyers are like that. So let's say it's been an overly long amount of time and it should have been there and the buyer contacts you. You first check the tracking number, because if it's delivered, you're going to do what I've already said. But let's say it shows that it's sitting at a sorting center or sorting facility. It'll tell you, they usually scan it along the way. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. When you check a tracking number, it shows you where it's been scanned in. Unfortunately, sometimes they don't get scanned at every facility. I have actually seen some packages get checked in here in Pittsburgh when I get my receipt every day, which you guys should be absolutely doing. You should absolutely be checking in your packages, especially right now. In today's climate, if you are not getting your receipt to prove that you shipped on time, you are doing yourself a huge disservice, and you're probably going to get in trouble down the line, especially right now. I say you should do it all the time, but right now it's more important than ever. And if you have a ton of packages, you can do the bulk shipping tool, and you can do the bulk shipping paper, and they scan one barcode and it checks in all your packages. I have a video on that if you need to know how to do it. Okay, so you check the tracking, and like I said, sometimes, oh, I got off topic. Sorry, I went on a tangent. I actually had a package that arrived in California 4 days later, and the only 2 checkpoints were Pittsburgh and California. And then you'll see some that get checked in 2 or 3 times a day. It just depends on who's handling your packages, whose hands it's passing through. A lot of postal workers will do what they're supposed to do, and some don't. And things just kind of go under the radar sometimes. So, yeah, they can file chargebacks with their credit cards at any time. And that's a whole different story on how you fight it, but it's a lot the same. You just have to prove that when they do the chargebacks on credit cards, they're typically saying, I didn't make this purchase, or I didn't authorize this purchase. And if you can show on eBay where they purchased it and it was delivered, and then if they had already done a PayPal case, you show all the documentation, typically the credit card company will just do kind of like an eBay thing and make both parties happy. Okay, so back to the lost or stuck. So you check your tracking number and you see that this package has been out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 week. However long it's definitely been longer than it should have been. And you can see its little travel, and you can see that maybe it's stuck at a facility or it hasn't been checked on in a while. You don't know where it is. So you can go to the USPS website, which is USPS.com. They have an area on there called Where's My Package? And you can actually click on that, and it'll walk you through everything you need to do. You just fill out some information, and it basically alerts the post office that you are looking for this package and you need to know where it went. And that will start a search for it. And typically it will show up right away after that and start moving along again. It takes a couple of days, sometimes up to a week, but just by filling that out, you're kind of putting out the bat signal, so to speak, and you're putting a fire under their butt, and they'll start looking for your package, and you'll usually see it start moving almost right, like within a couple of days to a week, you'll see it moving again, which means it was sitting somewhere or under a cart or under, I don't know. The best example I can give you is I had a package as a buyer. I had a package go missing for like 3 or 4 weeks, and we checked with the post office, and when we finally found it a month later, it was a small package. It was like very small. It actually wound up under the mail carrier's seat. So because it was a small package, it had rolled or whatever, it was under the driver's seat, and it had been there for a month. No one could find my package, but he finally found it, and there it was. So you can go to the website and fill that out. If you don't want to fill out the Where's My Package stuff, they have a whole contact area on there that gives you numbers and other ways to contact them, so you can kind of get the ball rolling and find out where your package is. Then you want to message the buyer to placate them. You want to be professional, cookie cutter, the royal we, and all of that. Hello, we are very sorry to hear that you have not received your package. We have taken the liberty to check on the tracking for you. We have discovered that your package was halted in Albuquerque, Alabama, Missouri, wherever. We saw that it was there, so we have reached out on your behalf to the post office and asked them to locate and find your package. We'll keep you updated as we hear more. Remember to keep checking your tracking number, as it will start to update once they locate your package. Usually that'll buy you a few days with the buyer. It does calm them down. It will diffuse them if they're upset or angry or whatever. Just a message like that, it makes it sound like, hey, I'm your friend. I'm on your side. We're doing what we can. We've gone to all this, trouble to check your number and contact the post office for you. It'll usually calm them down and diffuse them to give you a couple of days. Then if it starts to move again or it arrives, you've bought yourself that time without having a buyer messaging you every 2 hours all day long, or demanding their money back before they've even gotten it. Now, unfortunately, if they do choose to escalate it and start demanding their money back before the item has come, and they go to eBay from what I understand, none of ours have gone that far. Typically, our people will chill out once we send them a message like what I just talked about, and then it'll show up. But from what I'm hearing from other buyers and in Facebook groups and on Instagram, unfortunately, it really sounds like eBay is forcing you to refund buyers when the mail gets lost. The one way to fight that is if you can prove that you shipped it on time, and that's not a guarantee. I think it just depends on which rep you're talking to, what mood that rep is in that day, and I mean, unfortunately, that's just how eBay customer service is. We've all known that for years. You can call eBay 2 or 3 times a day for 7 days and speak to a different rep each time on the same question, and you will get that many different answers from that many different reps on how to handle your problem. It's just how it is. I don't know how hard it is to get one book of rules or guidelines or one training manual that you could use for all of your employees so that everybody's trained the same and everybody's on the same page. That must be really hard. Please notice the sarcasm. I feel like eBay employees are all given different training manuals and different scripts to read from, willy-nilly. Hey, just do whatever you feel like doing. Say whatever you feel like saying. Make stuff up. If you don't know the answer, just make it up. Tell them whatever. That's how I feel about their customer service. We're on concierge now, which is a lot better. When we went to eBay Open in 2018, we did get concierge, and they're a lot better. But even then, sometimes I feel like it's any given day, you're going to get a different answer. So like I said, you can try to fight it if you check your items in. Like I said, it's so super important right now. You make sure your packages are getting scanned. You have your receipt. If you can prove that you shipped it out within your handling time and you did what you were supposed to do within the time that you have to do it, sometimes you can get a rep that will not force you to refund the buyer. But from what I'm hearing on all accounts, unfortunately, it sounds like they're forcing us to refund them if their package looks lost or it's been any significant amount of time since it shipped. But what you can do then is keep your eye on the tracking number. If it shows up, if the buyer does receive it, you can absolutely call back into eBay, or actually, better yet, message eBay for Business on Facebook. Those reps seem to know what they're doing. And I should have said that earlier. I should say there's an asterisk here. The eBay reps on eBay for Business are straight out of the California headquarters of eBay, as is the concierge team on the phone. And those reps that are here, that are based at the headquarters, seem to actually understand eBay policy and know what they're supposed to do, and they'll give you the better answers. So if the package does end up showing up after eBay's forced you to refund them, you can absolutely complain and be like, yo, you made me refund them, and now they have the item, and I have the tracking to prove they have the item, and there's no way that they should have gotten this free item. Unfortunately, eBay will most likely just refund you and let the buyer have that free item. And now they have potentially trained a buyer how to get free stuff, because there's dishonest people out there, guys. There's dishonest people. And if you're a dishonest person and you were just shown, hey, if I call and complain, I can get my money back, and then when my item arrives, there's no repercussions, now I got a free thing, they might try it again, and they might do it again and again. Unfortunately, eBay does like to create monsters, but that's out of our hands, nothing we can do. But yeah, absolutely, if they ever force you to refund and then you see later it gets delivered, please contact them and fight for your money. These buyers should not be getting free items. So the second scenario is a little bit more difficult. There's more hoops to jump through. You might have to talk to your buyer more than one time and send several messages. You are going to do a little bit more footwork on the tracking and going to the post office and asking where your package is. And then you may have to track it down long after the fact to try to get your money back if it arrives. Unfortunately, hopefully you'll get a rep that says, hey, yeah, we see this was scanned in and delivered on time, and we'll just wait it out a few weeks to see if it arrives. Because I would hope that 100% of buyers and sellers and eBay reps all kind of understand what's going on right now in the community, in the country, in the world, within the post office. It's just right now, unfortunately, shipments are turning up late. They're disappearing for a little bit. It's just how it is. So if you get an understanding rep, but you got to have that proof. If you don't get your thing scanned in and they don't scan it, like I mentioned earlier, they don't always scan it. So if you drop your package off on time, but nobody scans it until 3 days later or 4 days later in Kansas, or a week later or 5 weeks later, you're SOL. So, all right, let's take a look at the chat. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat. Diane Collier, $5. Thanks for all your info and advice, Star. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. I'm going to read some comments, and then I'm going to let you guys go because we are trying to keep these live shows at a half an hour now. So while I go back through the comments, if you have any questions or concerns about anything I've talked about tonight, throw it up in the chat and I'll get to them before I take off. Swimmerization says, I have taken 4 packages to PO to get scanned, yet tracking updates 4 different times on the website. One will show within the hour, 1 2 hours later, one in the middle of the night. That's weird. I've never heard that. But we have always on the bulk sheet, so everything goes in at once. Found supposedly an empty equipment. That's funny. We've been getting mail lately, like pieces of mail, not packages, but like our bills, just regular normal pieces that are like torn in half, the envelopes ripped open, and they're inside these plastic bags that have a note on the outside. It's a little paragraph about how, unfortunately, these mistakes can happen. We're sorry we damaged your mail. We hope you understand. I've gotten like 3 of them, and they're like a pterodactyl or something got into it and just, and then they put them in these little plastic bags with this little apology and note. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to call and complain or anything, as long as I can still basically see what my mail was. But yeah, we've been getting those a lot lately. I don't know if we're getting lost and stuck in the machines or what's going on, but hey, Ruth, welcome in. All right, guys, I didn't see any more questions come in, but don't forget, if you later on think of a question that you didn't get to ask during the live show, or if you're watching this during the replay, you guys can always leave a comment down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I will address the fact that I've really only been talking about eBay because we've never dealt with this on any other platform. I've never had a buyer on Poshmark, Grailed, Macari, Bonanza contact us about missing mail or not getting a package. I would assume it would be mostly the same thing. You just give them the tracking number to show that it has arrived, or just show where it is in transit. If anybody has any experiences with those platforms and this situation in particular, please leave it on the replay video in the comments down below so that the rest of the community can have that information and you can help each other out with that, because I honestly cannot speak on it. We've never had this situation with any other platform, but it does occur on eBay all the time. So if you have what you're supposed to do, yeah, Robert, I'm just about to sign off. But if you know what to do, you can leave it down in the comments. Welcome in, Robert. Thanks for showing up. You'll have to catch the replay. The best way to get a hold of me is in my Facebook group. It's Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. Link down below to join, or you can just search for it by name. It's free to join. It is an amazing Facebook group. I cannot stress enough, especially in the last 3 or 4 months, how amazing and positive that group is. It's full of just, I guess, the best of the best of the best of the reselling community. The people in there have kept everything super positive, and just a really great place to hang out with our work buddies and chill and talk about business, and sometimes not. So join it. Like the video, because the thumbs up always helps so much. Thank you again, Greg and Diana, so much to the both of you for the super chats. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're at Flippin' Hippos on all social media. You can email me at flippinhipposhelp@gmail.com. And until next time, go be productive, guys. Go make some money. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Bye. Let me hit the end button and then just wave.